Hi, I didn't think we get this far. I'm keeping it utterly real. This is not the way I wanted to tackle this video in question. I was gonna host two videos, joking around, basically parroting a lot of the right-wing talking points that have grown to become a very vocal aspect of the modern day anime community, with a third video kind of being a little bit more serious with the intent to have a conversation and discussion, along with me sharing my thoughts and opinions on a lot of the rise of right-wing talking points within the anime community. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's 4 in the morning and I got class tomorrow. Let's just say things didn't work out in the way I thought it. Initially, I had intended to post a video, let it simmer over the course of a week, and then come back to it on weekend, because my weekends are typically free for video making, along with de-stressing from my work week, because I also have a job. I'm a college student, and that's as much as you're gonna give, because knowing the audience that has founded some of the videos that I've talked about, giving y'all a little bit more to chew on that is going to lead in some type of retaliation from a group of people that I low-key do not care enough to delve further into. And low-key, if I could never interact again with in my life, I think I'd be much better off. And to keep it real with you, the recording exists of the third video, which I had recorded the same day I did the second video in this anti-DI, whatever you want to call it, saga, where it was a little bit of a bit, but the grifter character I had made, where he was gonna start trying to do another video, and he's gonna get a knock on the door, he was gonna get switched down, and then the actual video would start, and it was gonna be another bait and switch, except this time the bait and switch, the switch portion of the bait and switch, was gonna be an actual developed and conversation, like a little bit of a more intellectual kind of thing, instead of just me making fun of them and pointing fun at the individuals who would fall under some of those more right-wing talking points. But alas, for a variety of reasons, which I'll get into, that didn't exactly pan out. Number one being, of course, is that the video far exceeded the initial reach that I had anticipated. To be utterly clear and honest, I did not think that video would go up and beyond. I thought the video would have stayed within my niche audience, and then it would have been a little silly. Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? What is this rollout? And then the video comes out as, oh, this is what he was building to, this moment. And I was gonna have this big section in the hypothetical third video that, obviously, as you're watching this right now, never got to be made, where I was going to make a point about doing your due diligence, making sure that you are platforming the correct things. And even if you are engaging something that you disagree with, just by sharing it could be viewed as an endorsement and will ultimately add traction to the original video. Let's just say I don't agree with that as much anymore. Now, to touch on one of the main topics that I've seen discussed about the video, is that it is satire. It is satire, and it is a parody of the common right-wing talking points that have currently come up in the anime community. Because YouTube's new policy, I have to include dead periods in a video. So we're transitioning into the thumbnail and how I constructed it. I hate YouTube. Yeah, we gonna be talking about my thought process in making this thumbnail, because I feel like a lot of it is very feels like without rhyme or reason. So I'm gonna break down the thumbnail and why I did it the way I did. So first and foremost, the greatest rapper of all time, Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar's on here. If you know anything about me in my personal life, I'm a huge Kendrick fan, and Kendrick has kind of become synonymous with calling people a PDF individual, and that's primarily because of, obviously, they not like us, the say Drake, which is the pose he's hitting right here in the video. But I feel like that's self-explanatory of why Kendrick's on here. Kendrick has become synonymous, at least within Twitter culture, of like, hey, you see someone responding with this GIF, they're calling you a PDF. And so these two are kind of the toss-up picks, because we have, I don't know her name, from Miss Koyabashi Dragon Maid. That's all I know, because truthfully and wholeheartedly, it might seem like a little bit of a shock, but even though the intent of the video for me was to troll and make a parody of like a right-wing grifter, do you really even though I do have experience with anime and like watching different types and genres and things like that, I'm not looking up lolis, bro. And so when I was thinking of, okay, well, what are characters that I have seen and know by name that I've seen people say genuinely absurd things about? And so I thought, okay, well, that's one. That's a LOLi. That's someone who's designed to look like a child. Straight up. And I've seen people go around the route of trying to defend that and defend wanting to engage in sexual relation or comments about a fucking child, a character who was designed to look like a child, a character who, within the context of what I was able to gather, because I didn't watch that fucking show, a child. Lust for these characters, these popular characters in the media that they're from, despite the fact that they are depicted as children, and as both of the screenshots indicated on here, they are depicted as children, these people still want to engage with that, and they see this perfectly fine and okay. So we have Kendrick here, obviously, he in the background, the subtle, you know, they not like us in like say Drake, I heard you like him young. Because in this case, yeah, those people in those communities do like them young. Like that's the joke wrote itself. We got we got Cash Money Mark on here because Mark was in some ways the founding titan, the original Hoodweeb in quotation marks, obviously referring to a black individual who had interest in anime, primarily being the shonen type. And I say this based off of the skits that he made that I was able to be introduced off him on I think fucking Vine Instagram those days, where he was making the fucking videos talking about My Hero Academia in the hood, Attack on Titan in the hood, where in that one I think one of the jokes in the video was that, oh man, yeah, you're yeah man, your family just died. Oh, was it from the Titan? Oh no, she got switched down. Ah, fuck, right? And Mark pioneered this content, and in a lot of ways he's actually directly responsible for the way anime has become a lot more socially acceptable and celebrated because of these skits. And along with other things, his contributions to the black side of YouTube are monumental. So that's why he's on here, okay? And yeah. And for King Von, grifters love talking about King Von and making. I've noticed that he has seen. I've seen more people talk about King Von within the last 6 months than I've ever seen people talk about King Von while he was alive making music. And I listen to rap music, right? I'm very familiar with the Chicago drill scene, at least of its time period. So a lot of times people are using King Von in place to refer to like genuine horrible things. And I know a lot of right-wing individuals love to talk as if black people are a horrible creature and a horrible just thing overall. So that's the attention getter, because even then it's like, what does King Von have to do with Cash Money Mark and fucking Kendrick Lamar? Maybe I should click on this. And then you got baited. You got baited into watching a video of me actually making fun of right-wing people for about 10 minutes straight. But that's the thought process behind the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail breakdown of why I did it the way I did. At least for this one. We can talk about the other one real quick. Just like touch on it, even though. So this video obviously is this one I think it even has a stronger case of being satire based off the thumbnail alone. Cause like let's be for real for like 10 seconds. When has I'm Dante ever talked about having like severe anime interest? Right? We got Cash Money Mark, anime YouTuber, or not anime YouTuber. He is very affiliated. He has done extensive amount of skit and just material talking about the topic. We have Your Bud Tevin. Again, he has the anime drinking games. And then we have iShow Speed, who has heavy affiliation with One Piece. That's it. That's literally it for this thumbnail in terms of people who have anime relations. We have Kasanet in the background because I thought it'd be really funny just to put Kasanet in here. Just because I don't think I've ever heard him ever talk about any like severe anime outside of like just a generic Dragon Ball. We have fucking DatruthDt here. Like this is a white dude who plays Dokkan Battle. Come on, we got fucking I'm Dante, and then that's like Your Rage hidden in the back because I thought it would like it'd be really funny to have him in here just because, literally just because. But these are like the main two popular thumbnails I feel like I need to do a breakdown about just so I can like articulate and shit. But yeah, that's the thumbnail breakdown with Malcolm. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to video Malcolm so we can like go back to the damn topic. So let's actually talk about Hoodweebs for a second. If you watch the original video, and I'm going to link it down in the description below, but the original video that you more than likely have been introduced to this term by, at least on the YouTube side of things, because I made sure there was like no mention of the term on YouTube before that video was made. the old ancient definition of hood weeb on Urban Dictionary, which I point out at the beginning of the video, commonly refers to weebs that experience coming up and growing up in the hood that primarily watch shonen anime. That was the old definition of hood weeb. However, with a website like Urban Dictionary, you know that a lot of the times that terms that get posted on there are not exactly utilized in that same shape or way from its initial posting date. From now, a lot of the time, hood weeb is used in place of the N-word, derogatory terms, any type of way to dehumanize and minimalize and discriminate against Black people. We're not like, let's be completely real here. The term is primarily used to discriminate and belittle people who might not share the same opinion of an anime diehard who has a stack of body pillows stacked up on his bed right now. Y'all can't see my bed, not because I have those on my bed, but because my bed is messy as hell right now, and that's low-key embarrassing for me to put that on the internet. But regardless of that, it has become incredibly clear to me that a large white audience or large non-Black audience from upper class has come across the original video, so I feel like it would be best for me to clarify that right now. Black people have fucked with anime. Like, I don't understand where this notion has come from that Black people have never had any interest in anime. While yes, it has received a big boom and boost in popularity primarily due to the efforts of large creators in the space, primarily RDC World, for breaking through those barriers. I was around watching those RDC videos when they came out back in the day, and those were funny as hell to me, and they made me feel happy, they made me feel comfortable, they made me feel welcome discussing and talking about my love for anime in my immediate peers. But it wasn't until the release of animes like My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer and the great lockdown of the 2020s era where anime took itself to the greatest of heights, and with it became an entire new fan base, an entirely new demographic of people who have just grown up and they know their Dragon Balls, they know their Bleach, they know the Narutos. But when you go out and you experience watching some things that, hey, might be a little bit outside of your standardized comfort zone, being maybe a rom-com, being something akin to Bunny Girl Senpai and things like that, you might end up somehow turning down the Fearnin's World End or Zom 100 World End and somehow end up at fucking High School of the Dead. I don't know, because it happened to me. I just started watching shit just to watch shit. And to clarify, this was a long time ago, okay? My anime phase peaked during my middle school years where I was just watching anything, and to watch some of those crazy ass anime that I was watching on a damn school laptop is obscene. With that in mind, you also see a huge increase of people becoming more woke. And when I use woke, I don't mean woke in the common nowadays right-wing talking point, basically as a catch-all term referring to anything in relation to progressivism, right? That's basically what it is, at least from what I've been able to gather. But I mean woke is in the sense of back in its prime 2016 Get Out era, Childish Gambino, I stay woke, right? Prime, where it was essentially a saying amongst Black communities to be aware consciously of systematic oppression and racism. And when I mentioned that, because a lot of the people who later got into anime begin to, on a wider scale than before, take issues with the depictions of Black people within these Japanese produced products. You see it a lot in Dragon Ball. Mr. Donut, I think that's his name. I can't remember off the top of my head, but garter belt for penning and socking. Characters like these who have some of these more racist design elements, being the big thick lips off the top of my head, the afros, the loud overbearing Black guy, I'm Black and I'm angry, right? And when you have these people point these issues out, it is usually almost always in a sense of, hey, we would like to be better represented. And that same common right-wing talking audience would look at those things and call these people a tourist, call these people unfamiliar with the grounds that they stepped on, or call them having these opinions despite the fact that they are the race being represented in these medias with these commonly hurtful stereotypes that harken back to early Jim Crow era of modern America. They were told to get a grip, to bounce that ass elsewhere, to take it and leave. And that has been the common sentiment between hardcore anime fans that are primarily associated with chibi reviews, which is why I ended that original video by me jokingly suggesting that you should support his lawsuit campaign. even though if you click the link that's like right next to it, it links back into my own channel. It recommends you become a member. That was very intentional, by the way. I thought that was incredibly funny. But beyond that point, a lot of the times when people begin to voice their discomfort and their disinterest in some of the more standardized practices within these anime communities, people have chosen to gatekeep and belittle and berate anyone who does not fit. Now, for me to stand on business, let me post my top 25 real quick. Hopefully post editing Xnox was able to to fit this in here just so we can hit our talking point. But this is my top 25. DatruthDt is on here. Now, I'm actually caught up to the manga, and something that I've always felt like when it comes to the anime discourse is whenever someone tells me that they have an uncomfortable experience, or there are certain issues and topics that they do not like to see depicted, or they are uncomfortable around, always going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If someone came up to me and is like, hey, I feel uncomfortable by the scenes in DatruthDt, I'm gonna be like, hey, I understand that perspective. I'm not gonna sit there and belittle and berate someone and call them a tourist and advocate for why they shouldn't be around the anime space because they don't like the way something is depicted. That is not wrong. That is innately a human trait. I'm saying in this case that if someone came up to me and they expressed their disappointment or their discomfort with something in an anime, I'm going to give the recommendation that, hey, I don't think you should continue this because it's going to be a reoccurring theme. You can take issue with that, and I even take issue with that. Throughout all the weirdness in DatruthDt, I do believe that the romantic implications and relationship between Momo and Okarun is the defining aspect for why I love DatruthDt so much, and that's why low-key hurts whenever we're having some good things come on. It's like, man, yeah, this typical things and this fashion to expect within the anime community of, hey, people are going to be supportive of seeing these scenes like that, and they think it's funny, they think it's heartening, they think it's incredible. Now, despite all that, I'm still willing to put that element to the side and take more of what I love from DatruthDt. I understand those issues and I sympathize and empathize with the people. And in some cases, yeah, sometimes scenes that depict abuse do tend to lean more onto the fetishization side of things, particularly within anime just within that nature, and Japanese culture so affiliated with hentai, where depictions like that and scenes like that are a lot more common and simply exist for one's own satisfaction. And that's also true for like modern American porn, but the same thing is there. And I can understand someone telling me that they became uncomfortable with a scene like that existing in a show they were trying to get into, especially with the character ages being depicted. I understand that. I'm like, cool, and I'm gonna respect your decision to drop the show and not continue forward. Great, they're done. Go about my fucking day. But when you see a lot of these right-wing people, they love to thrive off interactions, they love to thrive off negativity, and they love to sit there and pigeonhole you and think they're gonna get you in a hole, in a section. They're going to sit there and advocate for why black people should be massacred and not allowed to give any type of take or opinion on the anime space because of that. That shit is dumb as fuck. I'm gonna keep it so real with you. Oopsies, forgot to put this in the video, but for a lot of the people who predominantly come from this right-leaning audience, a lot of the times the issues that they have with a lot of the people in the community are simply because matter of racial skin tone or matter of racial color. See, for these people, if you do something as simple as criticize Japan's long extensive history of having inappropriate relations with women, let's be completely honest here, if Japan was really as a utopia as you believe it is, then why in an attempt to support the women of their society, why did they have to go out of their way to implement women-only train cars so they can feel comfortable commuting to the areas that they need to be? Why does that exist? Please, if anyone can like give me a definitive explanation, if you can give me an explanation that makes sense, I'll delete my channel right now. I'll delete my channel right now if you give me an explanation for why Japan, as a quote-unquote perfect society, has to have protection set up for the woman in society. When you get a phone in Japan, they have to have the shutter sound play when you take a photo. If Japan is a perfect society, why does something like that need to exist? You're not going to answer my question because as we've established, right-wing people are incapable of coming up with an original thought. So let's just move on into a more interesting talking point. And on that more interesting talking point, it's so funny that when a lot of the times black people such as myself come into these spaces and we do cosplay, we celebrate things, a lot of the time you have to deal with the racist and ignorant individuals who come at you as if you're less than human, as if you don't belong here. It doesn't matter if you are a Hoodweeb or if you have said anything regarding the matters of sexualization in anime, any topic, any type of discrimination, just because you are a black person wearing a fucking cosplay of a character that, hey, I hate to break it to you, isn't fucking white either, you are belittled, berated, and treated as a second-class citizen. That is incredibly wrong and weird. And I see my camera trying to refocus because I'm not turning on light so I can record another portion of this video. But that is ultimately very, very, very wrong and compromised behavior. So I'm gonna throw this in here to any one of my complexion, skin tone. Continue to listen to the advice that I've mentioned beforehand, because these people are never going to budge, and you're never going to be accepted by these groups of people. So go out and be yourself completely and utterly unashamedly. Because that's what I do. That's what I live in. I'm not ashamed to be black, even though a lot of people love to talk about that, and I've seen that rhetoric be pushed on Twitter, and a lot of people replying to my video. I'm very proud, and I'm very happy, and I'm very comfortable in my skin, and I look good in it, bitch ass nigga. What's up with that? Regardless, if you are afraid of black people entering your space because you think that they're going to cause spread violence and increase criminal activity, I don't got shit. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I really don't. The main thing I was able to take away from this experience is that people who fall under the far leaning right side of the spectrum, you can't reason with them. We can't argue, we can't respectfully disagree on things. We can't be like, hey, bygones be bygones, because these people, at least in my personal experience, have made it their mission to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. There is no reason why a rando ass individual should hop into my replies and I look through their account and I'm seeing them retweet things and talk about George Floyd as if he is the black people's Superman, and trying to advocate for why Derek Chauvin should be pardoned. Like, at this point, this is not a matter of opinion. It is, they do not like basic human rights. And you could be like, you could sit on your fucking stupid ass high horse and be like, hey, you know, wow, I'm shocked you never know that. I'm sorry that I was raised off of the principle that I should treat people with kindness and respect based off the fact that we are all humans alone. Sorry, I decided to be a little bit too sympathetic to these people who ended up finding that video, and to some group of people who think I hold the same ideals as them, like I'm taking a side in the sand and siding with them. It's like, hey buddy, you're not being laughed with, we are laughing at you. And by we, I mean me. I don't give a fuck that a large percentage of people thought the video wasn't satire and thought that I was being completely and dead ass honest. I don't give a fuck about that. The thing that I got out of that is I got to make a bunch of right-wing people mad and got to poke fun at them, and that shit was funny. Watching people come to the video link and be like, wow, I thought this was actually going to be a serious video talking about why Hoodweebs have ruined anime culture. And it turns out it's a bit. It's a satirical reenactment of the average mental capacity of a fucking Chibi Reviews fan. And on that note, to talk about Chibi Reviews and why I decided to include that little bit at the end of the video, Chibi Reviews is known for basically shifting and becoming a hardcore right-wing grifter. Now, I don't want to say grifter, maybe that's not a good word, but let's just say he's incredibly affiliated and very proud of his stance of being in the right-wing side of things. Chibi Reviews is an advocate and a supporter of lolicon material within media, and is a very advocate supporter of incest being present within the fictional realm of things. Now, regardless of where you stand on the matter of fictional characters being depicted, let me give my take on it, because you're on my fucking video, so you're gonna hear me speak. Sorry about it, buddy. I was born a middle child, so I got an older sister and I got a younger sister, so I'm the only male, so I gotta hold it down for the culture, for the people. And with that, when I see people talk about lolly content and lolly activity and things like that, the very first thing I think about is, you're fucking weird. Maybe we can play the game and we can play the well, technically there's no laws against it, well, technically it's not immoral, well, technically it's not this and that. Cool. You're fucking weird based off of the fact that you would find yourself in a scenario where you would unironically advocate that someone, and I don't mean someone that's petite, I don't mean someone that's short, I don't mean someone that just so happens to have a smaller build, I mean someone who is designed meticulously to look and appear as a child, and try to tell me and talk to me that you think that is attractive and that is okay because it is a fictional character. If that's what you feel like and that's what you believe in, cool. Keep that shit over there. Get that shit from my fucking face. Don't come into my space and my communities and tell me why that shit should be acceptable. You're a fucking loser, buddy. You are a loser. You may not be a PDF, because truthfully, I do agree with the notion that I feel like a lot of people have gone out of the way to make that argument that people are PDFs, even though the real definition of being a PDF is having a mental illness and being consistently attracted to children. But I do think that it tends to get muddied in the water a little bit, especially when it comes down to showing proof. And especially, I'm always an advocate of like serious shit like that should be handled in the court of law when applicable. But if you are a LOLiconk or a LOLi supporter, take that shit elsewhere. Take that energy elsewhere. Get the fuck out of my face, you weird ass nigga. I don't care. I don't want you around my people, around my supporters, around my community, if that's what you genuinely believe in. Now, if you are one of those right-wing individuals who somehow found this video and somehow found this channel and somehow clicked the subscribe button, go ahead and click that shit and kick rocks from me, bucko, because I really don't fucking want you here. If by some miracle, despite the fact that you can look at my channel, despite the fact that you see I made several videos talking about black cultural influences within media, several videos, there was only one, but I made a whole video talking about it, despite the fact that I made a video talking about racism and harassment in the Sonic the Hedgehog community, despite all of that, if you somehow walked away from all that, despite the fact that I made a whole ass video talking about one of my favorite content creators and the very person who inspired the fuck out of me being fucking Etika, and you somehow think that I'm a right-wing supporter or anything like that, cool, kick rocks, take the shotgun barrel, put it in your fucking mouth. Go ahead and do that for me while I go ahead and not call 911, not because I want them to save your life, but because I want them to send the fucking cleanup crew so we can clean this bitch up and I can burn it down to the ground to ensure that your spirit is going to maintain locked in the same place as you decided to confine and blow your brains in. That was a fucking bar. That was some good improv, I think. But to give general advice, now that I've sat in the hot seat, now that I've been jumped, I can now wear my badge of honor. A lot of this internet shit ain't real. Don't feel like you are a weakling. Don't feel weak. Don't feel like you are less of a person if you ever need to take a break and step away from everything. Thankfully, I have people who care about me in my life. I also have a job, and I also have like things outside of the YouTube space and Twitter space where when a lot of the harassment was occurring, a lot of the people jumping in my mentions, a lot of the people hurling slurs my way, I looked at that shit, I laughed and went about my fucking day. And I think that needs to be advocated more. Do not feel ashamed for utilizing the block and mute feature that is baked into almost every social media platform. They're there for a reason. Don't feel bad for using them. Don't even like second guess it. If you think someone is exhibiting behavior that you personally think is annoying, or they're being very disingenuous, and for genuinely whatever reason, if you just don't want to talk or interact with a person, feel free to block them niggas. Like, what? If I were to leak my block accounts, y'all will see it's more than just blue check marks. You could come on and you could say something that I think is so idiotic and attempt to belittle and berate me that I'm just gonna hit you with a block and not even entertain you with a reply. That shit is hilarious, at least to me, in my personal opinion. Now, for the last section of this video, yeah, in short, I definitely do think in some ways I flew too close to the sun. The original video, I think, serves its purpose well of being a very clear bait and switch, and the further you watch the video, the more you realize, oh, this is bit, this is not real, this is a parody. But for the second video, I'm gonna keep it real with you. That it might be a 2-pack of ass to keep it blunt and to keep it real with you. I'm not particularly a fan of how I structured that video because one of the complaints that I received is that I guess a satire in the original wasn't apparent enough, so I thought I'd dial it up to 10. But at the same time, if you think a video where I'm talking about Elon Musk, please give me a Tesla so I can escape to Japan, was me being like completely real, I'm sorry. You might be too far gone in that kind of case. And to really hammer in this point, you can disagree with me. You can think my approach was stupid because in a lot of ways, I do think my attempt as a whole came across as sloppy and not well thought out, because in truth it was. The first video was just going to be a one and done. However, while making the second one, I came to the idea of like, hey, I can like do this as a bit, and then I can have a third video where I actually like do a standard normal Malcome X upload where I talk about something that I have a particular interest in. But what's done is done. Mark of RDC has already seen the thumbnail, and by the time of me uploading this, it's probably going to gain more traction and more attention, for better and for worse. And on that note, if any creator that I put on that thumbnail, because the first thumbnail was meticulously created, the second thumbnail for that, or by second thumbnail, if you know Black Spaces, and I'm talking about Hoodweebs, and I put fucking I'm Dante, Sean C on the damn video, and you somehow think it's serious, like But I just feel like I can't even blame people because there are people out there who would unironically just look up black people and slap it on a thumbnail. But like, come on, bro. Fucking DatruthDt is on the damn thumbnail. And that's a white dude who plays fucking Dokkan Battle. Editor's note. Xnox, while you're editing this, please put the iconic "The Truth." I'd eat her ass like a starving child.
Listen, Khalifa, I would eat her ass like a starving child. All right, y'all don't even want to know what I would do with Khalifa. Stop.
And on that note, it is my fault. I brought up a lot of discourse and a lot of slander, so I would like to personally apologize to any one of those creators. I would like to apologize to Desmond and Mark of RDC. My fault. Don't ban me from DreamCon. Listen, I might be there next year. Don't send the choppers out like I'm fucking Killer Mike at the damn Grammys, bro. Like, please, bro. I didn't mean that shit like that. But at the end of the day, I did play a stupid game, so any type of replications and any type of ramifications and just genuine bad shit that happens after this, it is a product of my own doing. It's like when fucking Goji just said, your own bad energy will be your undoing. I gotta take that energy. I gotta take all that energy. I gotta take that damn Soul Punisher, hold it, grasp it real tight, and hold that right here. I gotta hold it right here. But regardless of that, pay for normal channel viewers, we going back to normal uploads. I promise y'all, I got some shit working in the vault. Y'all fuck with Pokemon. I think I got a Pokemon video coming out, and we are live streaming. Hey, I've tried experiment with doing YouTube short streams. I'm having fun with it a little bit. Come by. We playing Sonic Unleashed. I might hop on that Xenoblade Definitive Edition when it drops. Don't know about that, but hey, that's really all I got for y'all. Y'all stay safe. Stay woke. Nah, don't say that. Don't stay woke no more. That shit got banned. And I'm out of here. Yeah, change on. Fuck, I'm out of here, bro. Like, ah, fuck. Cool Trainer Joe. Dialga!